Oh, hi, Mark. 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 Oh, hi, Mark.
Bah. Hello.
I'm Steve.
Oh, damn, you broke your leg? Oh, yeah, I think he said before, actually. Hello. We're just playing some Infinite Pizza. I got distracted, funnily enough. Writing, like, a short story because I was bored. Whenever I go on walks, I tend to just, like, make up small stories in my head. And like, yeah, I was just sort of walking along like, oh, that'd be an interesting story. Oh, this could be the twist at the end and stuff. Did any of you do that? Sometimes I'm just like, yeah, that'd be neat, you know? Surprised I got here fast. It is quicker than usual, but I am streaming at a very strange time. I'll be streaming after dinner as well, but I thought you guys missed out yesterday because I was busy. I'm also busy tomorrow, so I stream tomorrow as well, so I need to get those extra streams in. Apparently the hardest thing... Oh, I just spat everywhere. Whoa. Apparently the hardest thing for my YouTube channel is to stay above... What's the subscriber count? Is to stay above... 11,800 subscribers. Every time I reach above 11,800 subscribers, I immediately drop and have to regain subs back to that point. It is crazy. I don't know what's going on. Like, holy moly. It's rough. I like to tell myself that people unsubscribing are being replaced with people who are subscribing who want to watch my content, so that's like a good thing. Right, guys? That's a good thing. I got an itchy nose. Hey, Lynx, it's again, buddy. Did that say oh hi, Mark? I was paying enough attention. My head is being slightly cut off. Let's do that. Do you think I need the like and subscribe on screen again to increase subscribers? I know people don't like seeing the like and subscribe on screen, but statistically speaking, it does work. And I'm like, do I care enough to do that? Or do I want to just go... I like doing things the way I enjoy it. If you, like, one thing that some streamers do, right? So you guys mostly watch in short form, but in landscape, a lot of streamers will do that thing where, like, the whole right side and bottom is like the screen will be shrunk down. And then the right side and the bottom will have, like, you'll have your camera in, like, the bottom right still. Then it'll be above him, it'll be above you, your camera would be, like, your subscribers, your recent subscribers, or memberships and all that. Then at the bottom, it will say other information. I freaking hate that. If I'm watching someone play a game, I want the entire screen to be the game. You know? I don't want the screen to be shrunk down. Unsub people sometimes as well. I think that's true, Galaxy. I believe that's true. They unsubscribe people who are inactive accounts, and I don't know if people exaggerate it to... Hold on a minute, camera's a bit cool. If some people exaggerate it, like, I feel like some people unsubscribe, forget, because the problem is there's a lot of human error, right? Some people will subscribe, forget, and then be like, I was unsubscribed. And I'm like, were you? Was it YouTube, or did you just forget that you clicked the unsubscribe button? You know what I mean? I've even done it before, and then remembered, oh wait, no, I did unsubscribe because of this video, and I didn't like that video, you know? So I do wonder how much truth there is to it, and if it happens, because I believe it does happen, but I wonder if it happens as much as we believe it does. No one is on YouTube Shorts. Really? No one's on YouTube Shorts today? Well, let's hope that changes while I waffle on about random stuff. It's surprisingly not that warm today. Like, I think it was like 12 degrees, but I walked to and from the shop, which is about a 30-minute walk one way. So about an hour walk total. I had a leather jacket on, I had a big backpack on, and I was so sweaty when I got home. This is disgusting. It depends how much people find sweating disgusting, but my entire back on my shirt was just coated in moisture. I was like, I took it off like, damn, man. My back is the place in my body that excretes the most fluids. My armpits are probably third, with my head being second. My head and my back are the two worst areas. My back is definitely number one. You know what? At least you can hide that with a jacket, but still. The jacket makes it so it gets hotter. Uh-oh. I thought I was going crazy when the pizza was coming closer. I got a 5 on my test. It's the highest score. Nice! I used to watch your streams on YouTube Shorts, but I got here early. Oh, so what you on? Just like YouTube Landscape then? To be fair, if we can get YouTube Landscape views much, much higher in general, that is way better. People watching in Landscape is significantly better for the channel than people watching in Shorts. Like, significantly. It's not even a competition. It's way better for the channel with people watching long form. Woo! I got all of those. No, there's no reason. Well, I guess if you want to get a high score on items destroyed or whatever it's called, food destroyed. But most people just go for the distance score. If they're trying to... I thought it was to the left. If they're trying to get high score. I'm so lonely on YouTube Shorts. So, what have you guys been up to? I've just been chilling. I went to a board game cafe yesterday around 6 o'clock. And for those of you who's not seen on the Discord, we won my table. So my friend, she gave me The Last of Us. So we won the grand prize. So all the prizes were like board games because it was a board game cafe. And we got extra raffles when we came in because we were the first 10 people there. And we got, they handed out maybe 15 winnings before getting to the grand prize. And the grand prize, they had 3 copies of the Last of Us board game. Last of Us Escape the Dark or Survive the Dark or something. I've got it behind me. And my friend was like going there like, oh man, I never win anything on these. She won twice. I kid you not. She won twice the grand prize. They had 3 Last of Us. She won it twice. And when I went up the second time to pick it up again, they were like, do you want us to draw another name from the hat? because you just won one. And I looked over to her. I was like, do you want to? And she's like, yeah, okay. And then when I got back to the table, she was like, I thought they said they were going to give you another board game in exchange for it. I didn't realize she just wasn't going to get the prize. She's like, ah. She's like, I would have taken it. I was like, oh, whoops. But then, after pulling the name out the hat and someone else getting called, the third person to get the Last of Us prize was someone else on our table who we came with. So it's so funny. We essentially won that prize 3 times. But thinking about it, we wouldn't have won it. If we accepted that second prize, technically, the person to win the third one would have been the other person anyway. Because I thought to myself, we would have had all 3 of them. No, we wouldn't have. Because if I accepted the second prize, then there wouldn't have been a 4th drawing, would there? And the 4th draw was our friend winning it. So in a way, it was karma that we got another win. You know what I mean? What are you gonna play after dinner? Not sure, not sure. I'm thinking like a good stream game, not like Oblivion or anything like that. Not big story game. I don't know what yet. Maybe Granny 3 if I can bother to buy it. I don't think that'll get many views though. To be fair, none of our stuff's getting many views, but my regulars are showing up, which is what matters. You guys are in chat talking. That's what I care about. Ooh, should I you think I should buy White Knuckle, like the full game, and play that? I couldn't believe how big the demo was, and it's replayable. The demo is insane. Is the full version actually worth getting, or is the full version more of a I'm supporting the developer, and it's the same thing? Because White Knuckle was very fun. I do think White Knuckle is a decent stream game, because when you're seeing a game like that pop up on stream, you immediately go, oh, what's this? But when you see something, like especially on shorts, but when you see something like Oblivion pop up, you're sort of just like, oh, I've seen 100 people play this already, you know what I mean? So you're less drawn to watching it unless you're a real big Oblivion fan. But if you're a real big Oblivion fan, you're probably already watching somebody else play Oblivion on Twitch or something. You've got to think about these things with streaming, guys. It's not about the algorithms, it's about what common sense people would actually watch, you know what I mean? I think that's a funny thing, actually. People always talk about the algorithms, but in reality, so much of it just comes down to understanding the target audience, which is how you sell any product. I don't know why I'm talking into details about this. So I've worked for a games company in the past, and a very big, I've worked for a couple, and a very big thing that gets usually overlooked is understanding the target market. For example, if you're trying to develop a game like a social deduction game, immediately you know that the general public aren't buying a lot of, that appeared out of nowhere, aren't playing a lot of social deduction games. Yes, you've got examples like Among Us, but those are outliers, right? If you're looking for a game genre that tends to get a lot of people playing it regardless. Oh, okay, Death Rises. Hope you enjoyed while you're here. The full game has more. Does it have more to the game, though? I don't really care necessarily about more game modes. I just want to travel higher and go more. Is there more? Yeah, and if you're trying to develop a game right that you want to get more sales on, you'd be looking at things like FPS games, RPGs, but the problem with RPGs is they usually take a lot longer to develop, or you can dish out a FPS a little bit easier. Horror games usually are quite high on that for sales, not necessarily concurrent players, but sales. If you really want a lot of money, you make a, what's it called, like a live update game, whatever you call it, where people can continuously play that game because you're constantly updating it, but that obviously costs a lot of resources to keep updating it, so you have to bear that in mind. But yeah, and it's no different than understanding what people are going to watch on YouTube. Now, the algorithms will randomly, or YouTube will randomly push you for no reason. Like, I played Infinite Pizza about, what, 3-4 months ago, and we got like 100,000 views for no reason whatsoever. Now that I play, and it's already like a few years old game, so there's no reason YouTube should have necessarily pushed it. They just did. But oh god. Yes, the algorithms. But now my content's not being pushed. So basically I just hope that I'm going to be picked back up. But if we're talking about like it's one thing being pushed, it's another thing trying to maintain the people who actually find your channel. If you're doing content that's obviously very interesting, people are going to try to stick around in the streams. But the algorithms are the reason you're being pushed to begin with for people to find those streams. You know what I mean? I can make Steve read this. You can. Oh, I was reading. You can go higher if There's a multiplayer. There's a multiplayer. I mean, I mostly care about going higher. I wanted there to be more of the game, like more areas. But if the full game only has DLC, I might just play the demo again. If the full game story just has more game modes, I don't really care about, like, different game modes and stuff. Yeah, I've got pizza for dinner today. We're at our local Asda here. So Asda's like a supermarket for those who don't know. You can go in and they will like make you pizzas. They'll have like all the bases prepped and ready, like a thin base, a deep pan, and a wood stove one. The wood stove one's quite small though. You'll get a large. It's like it's the size of a medium. You pay the same price, but £12 for 2 large pizzas, 2 sides, and 2 dips, which is a pretty good price anyway. But it's just for 3 people. Ooh, damn. And, I can't believe I survived that. My brain is just like, forgot what I wanted to say because that was so intense. And basically, I got one that's like garlic-based and one that's barbecue-based. I don't know if they get tomato-based pizzas because I like something different. And then it's just like a load of meat and stuff on it. One, I got extra cheese on the garlic one. So I got, it basically just turns into this cheesy garlic bread pizza thing and it's delicious. Who doesn't like some garlic bread? I remember when I was in university and we were sitting at a table and like eating lunch or something. I was eating a prawn sandwich. That's usually how my stories start in university because most days I would go buy a prawn sandwich. So I was eating my prawn sandwich with my mates. And basically, one of them was like, why do they call it cheesecake when there's not cheese in it? And we all paused and we were like, there is cheese in cheesecake. He was like, no, there's not. I was like, yeah, they use cream cheese and mix it with like white parts of eggs. And oh my, well, 100k, nice. You just order pizza, nice. They mix it with the white parts of eggs and sugar, and that's how you get most of the part of the cheesecake. Technically, there's something called London cheesecake, which doesn't have cheese in it, and it's because you get coconut shavings on top, and they call it cheesecake because the coconut shavings look like cheese. Now, that you could use as an example, but generic cheesecake does have cheese in it. And then he paused and was like, oh, I didn't know that. And it went, why do they call it carrot cake if it's not got carrot in it? And we were like, it does have carrot in it. It was just so funny that he immediately said something else that he thought was going to be like an example of what he was saying, and then it was just wrong again. This same person though, so I am slightly like more, you can't see it right now because there's a lot of light. Most of the time you can't see it because I have a really white light when I play games. I have slightly tan skin complexion, right? To the point where my nickname in university was Mexican Steve. I'm not Mexican, but it was just a funny thing to call me for people I knew because I had slightly tan skin. I also owned a sombrero, which probably didn't help. But then most of them didn't know that, to be fair. Anyways, I remember that because, like, I walked out of my place once with a sombrero. So it really sold the fact that my friend gave it to me for some reason. I thought it was funny. Not because people called me Mexican Steve, but because he just had a spare sombrero for some reason. And, yeah, and this same person, right, who talks about cheesecake and carrot cake was like, he looked at me. And I was eating my prawn sandwich, as I did every lunch. He looked at me and he paused and he was just staring at me. I remember sort of noticing it, but I was like, I'm not going to look back at this person. Like, I say friend, he wasn't really a friend. You know, like when there's somebody, especially in school groups, where somebody sort of just joins your group for food, but they're not necessarily a friend. They're just someone who tends to sit down where you guys are. We didn't hang out with him in any other way. He just would eat with us sometimes. And he looked at me and outright said, why are you brown? Why are you brown? And I immediately, because I always have an answer for this, even though it's probably not a correct answer. I was born with yellow jaundice. And so I tend to say that's the reason. But if you actually look up yellow jaundice, the effects of the yellowing of your skin pigments aren't supposed to be long term. So I don't actually think that's the reason, but that's usually the reason I give. Well, I think he asked why am I brown because I'm completely English, right? So to him, it felt like a valid question because he couldn't wrap his head around why I have naturally tan skin despite being fully English. Like, my family goes back for generations on English. Eventually, on one side, it does go to Russian, weirdly enough. But yeah, you know, it's... And I assume, giving him benefit of the doubt, I assume that's the reason he said it. But everyone else on the table who was, like, out of vision of him was just like... And after he left, they were like, I can't believe he just said that. Imagine, hello, how's it going, Duck Lover? Imagine sitting at a table with this person, like your group of friends, and the person who kind of joins that group of friends when you're eating, but that's the only time, and he just asks you, why are you brown? It was so funny. I'm good to hear, Duck Lover. You came in on a weird conversation. In university, I had someone ask me why I'm brown. Yeah, it was a very interesting situation. I remember this one person in university. I'm not going to say any names. I almost said his name. I'm not going to say any names for obvious reasons. We're on a live stream. I don't want to reveal anyone's identity, even though I don't know his last name anyway. He used to talk such a big game about everything. And, like, his stories were funny, but more conjecturally funny because you knew he was just this, like, massive... I don't want to say loser. I feel like that's too mean. But he just made a lot of stuff up. Accidentally racism, but not a racist. Well, yeah, true. Hello, Twitch from YouTube. Yeah, so basically, this guy, one of his stories was like he dressed up. So this guy was a little chubby. He wasn't like fat, a little chubby. And one of his stories like, yeah, I dressed up as Predator once. And, you know, they were going to paint on the muscles, like the six-pack, but I already had one, so they didn't need to. And we were just like, yeah, sure thing, man. And I remember one of them where he was trying to talk like he'd picked up this girl in the pub. And it was just such a weird... The reason it was so funny, because it was just so out of nowhere. Nobody asked him about this story. He just randomly said it. And he was like... yeah, so I was out on my birthday, and my ex showed up. And she knew I was going to be there on my birthday. She only showed up because she knew it would upset me. So, like, I pointed at the fittest bird in the pub, and I said... I can't remember what he said. I'm going to do her, or I'm going to have her, or something like that. I'm going to have her. And then he took a sip of his drink, put it down, and went, and then I did. It was so funny. I remember telling this story when I got home, like back to my hometown from university. And I told some people, not necessarily all friends, but some people I knew. And none of them found the story funny. And it made me realize that it was only funny in context because we knew what the guy was like. He was just this massive loser who acted like he wasn't. And, I'm gonna be right back from my mate. Oh, okie dokie, Duck Lover. And, yeah, and it was just so funny. You ask anyone in university if it was a funny conversation, and it was. But you ask anyone outside who I've told, they're like, I don't know why Steve found that funny. Because it's the person. And it was the fact that he brought up the conversation for no reason. You know what I mean? You get why that's funny. Oops. I want to turn down the audio for the game a little bit because I feel like my voice is being overshadowed. It is just, I love these confident people who like will make up stories to try to big themselves up. And I just think it's, in general, those kind of people are hilarious anyway, because it's just like, no, you didn't, mate. Like, no, you didn't. And even if they did, the way that they tell the story, hey, Duck Lover, you're over on your other account. The way that they tell the story is just so like, clearly it's just said in such a way that just they're trying to big themselves up so much that you just want to not believe it because it probably isn't true anyway. Have you guys ever met someone like that? Someone who just completely talks out their backside and is just just tries to big themselves up so much at every turn. The only way I big myself up is like my video game prowess. But I tend to just say things that happen. Like, I remember... I met someone similar. Yeah. I remember when I was playing... This was such a funny moment, because I didn't mean to sound vain, and that's what makes this moment funny. So, well, I was playing Uncharted, right? Uncharted 2. And in Uncharted 2, you could make your... You remember, like, Metal Gear Solid... not Metal Gear Solid, Call of Duty. Oh, that's a dead end. You remember, like, Call of Duty... where you could make your own emblems. You remember that? Like in Black Ops 1 or something? And I think it was Black Ops 1, right? And then they introduced it again recently, I think. And people will make really funny stuff. So I was you in Uncharted 2, you could also make your own emblem. Probably them copying Call of Duty because they knew it was a popular thing. And your emblem would show up in places in the map, right? Like on a big container in the background, stuff like that. It would show up. Your emblem would. At least I thought. So, I was playing Uncharted 2 with my friend. And I noticed that the emblem showing on this big container that's always my emblem was somebody else's. And I thought the game was glitched. And I was like, why are we seeing somebody else's emblem on that wall? And he was like, oh, good one. I was like, what? He was like, very funny because it's always your emblem up there. And I was like, well, I thought it just shows your emblem. So I discovered that day that your emblem wasn't what always gets shown in the places that like it shows it in the map. No. It shows you who's in first place. What's the game? This is Infinite Pizza. Hey, Aeon Boss. It shows you who's in first place. The emblem that showed on the map was whoever was in first. So I had basically always seen my own emblem, meaning I was always in first place. So it sounded like the most vain thing to be like, oh, it's always my emblem up there. It was. I never noticed it changed. I still think that's one of the funniest accidentally vain things I've ever said in my life. Thinking that the emblem that shows up was just showing your emblem when in reality it showed you who was in first place. I'm a sub. Oh, thank you, man. Vain as in like egotistic. You know, narcissistic, egotistic, someone who thinks they're like the best. And me being, if I did know that the emblem that shows was like, it showed whoever is in first. Me saying what I said made it sound like I was being egotistic. Hey, Harry. Weirdly enough, I am going for an English teacher position in Japan. So, being able to describe... One of the questions on there was describe what a word meant. What was it? It was... not gracefully. Graceful. Grateful. It was grateful. Oh, wow. I couldn't make that. I'll be here when I get... Okay, Harry. We're doing a stream after dinner anyway. I'm just doing this before... Uh-oh. That was a bad start. Before my dinner. Yeah, it was the word grateful. And one of the questions in the first interview was describe what grateful means. And one of the biggest things, so in school, I don't know if any of you were taught this, but it's like one of the first things I was ever taught in school. If you're trying to explain a word, you cannot use the word to explain it. I know people who will do this. They'd be like, grateful means when you're grateful for something. That doesn't mean anything. You have to use another word to describe your word or explaining. Because if you're using the word to describe the same word and the person doesn't know what that word means, you're not explaining anything. This is Infinite Pizza. I died while reading that. Infinite Pizza. Are you new, Duck Lover? I feel like I've seen Duck Lover before. I know Aeon Boss is new. But yeah, and I'm actually going for an English course, an English teacher role in Japan at the moment. So being able to explain things is very, very good. Now, I'm not the best English person, as most people will tell you. My writing skills on a computer are very, very lazy, admittedly. When I'm actually in person, I tend to try to speak proper. When I'm on stream, I talk very informally. But when I'm actually in person, I'm trying to... Oh, I was going to use a good word there, but I can't remember what it was. Hey, man, B. Gray, how's it going, buddy? Articulate. When I'm trying to like articulate what I'm trying to describe, I will try to use more appropriate words, right? But when I'm just talking online, I'm just like, oh, innit, mate. Oh, that was banging. I'm just saying all sorts of nonsense. But to be fair, talking in Japan, being an English teacher in Japan, they'll probably want to know also some words like that, like what English people might say. Banging, mate, innit, you know, some slang words. I've been here before. Yeah, I thought so. I remember duck. I do like me some casual British slang. Oh, you're from the UK? I am, yes. Oh. I am from England specifically. If I was from Scotland, you'll probably really be able to tell the accent. I get told very differently about my accent. I always find that really funny because some people, especially in Japan, right? Everyone there was like, "You're definitely British. You are 100% British," and I'm like, "Oh." Yeah, that's what I said, Galaxy, what you just said there. Grateful when you appreciate something someone else has done. I literally said almost word for word that. I was like, it's when you show, it's when you show appreciation, I think I said, for what someone else has done for you. I said you can show it for other things, but usually it's used to show it towards another person. Because I'm not dying here. My eyes are getting F just by watching. Yeah, but when I talk to certain other people and they ask about my accent, I've had Americans literally say to me, "You're not English or British." And I'm like, "Why do you say that?" "Well, because you don't say things like pip, pip, cheerio." I was like, oh my word. You actually believe that the British say pip, pip, cheerio? Or they're like, "You didn't say governor." British people don't really say governor. Boss is quite common, depending on who they are. I'd say chavs more often say boss, but I love being called boss. Right, boss? Yeah, I'm good, man. Love being called boss. It's such a great word. Especially when you're working in like retail or something. Like I used to work in a supermarket and people were like, "All right, boss." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm all right." But I do love it when it's usually Americans, but there are other people who get confused to where I'm from. But with Americans, it's usually... I had an American actually say to me, this is no hate towards Americans, in fact, it's quite hilarious that some of them have this perception of the English. I had an American say to me that she genuinely thought we walked around in casual wear wearing... or our casual wear was suits, monocles, and top hats. We were much younger, maybe around 20, which is still not that young. And she legit thought our normal day-to-day wear was wearing a suit with a top hat and a monocle. And I was just like, that is so funny. Bro, we dress like Americans. Tracky bottoms, shirts or t-shirts, jeans, cargo pants. I don't know, you name it. We dress like anybody else. Bro, Cassie just tripping chat's eyeballs while reading chat. Or like how we think all British people mispronounce bottle of water. You know what? I like saying water because when I looked online, that's how apparently that's if you go to like the American pronunciation, it will say water instead of how English would say it, like water. So bottle of water. And people will come in chat and ask and be like, say it, say the thing, and they'll write in chat, and I'll be like, bottle of water. I'm like, no, that's not the way I wanted you to say it. And I'm like, I know. It really riles people up, and I love it. I see Americans on YouTube. Let's do stereotypical English things. Yeah, right. One of my favorite ones, right, is I saw this YouTube. Now, I think this is so funny. I've spoken about this quite a few times. And it's Americans when they talk about Europe. For some reason, when they talk about Europe, and they go to like a European country, stuff like that, they keep encompassing all of Europe as one entity. Instead of saying, oh, in Italy and France and Germany and stuff like that, they'll just say, oh, Europe. And they will call all of it. Europe is like 30 plus countries or something, right? 40 plus, 50 plus, something like that. There's a lot of places. Now, you'll get some Americans. I've seen videos and they'll arrive in like France or Germany, but like, look at all these Europeans. That's like me going to Mexico. Heck, that's like me going to Brazil, which is in South America, and going, look at all these Americans. Do you understand why it's weird to go to a European country and just say, look at all these Europeans? Most Europeans, I would argue, don't tend to just call themselves European. They'll call themselves whatever country they are. Like an Italian will call himself Italian. A German will call himself German. Someone from England will say England, or Scotland will say Scottish, right? So I find it really funny. I saw a video of an American go to a McDonald's in the UK, I think in England. Honestly, you want to visit England, but I don't have any friends anymore. What happened? And I saw him go into it was a video, go into a McDonald's in the UK. And people from the UK will understand why this is a funny thing, right? he walked into an English McDonald's, like England. So I keep saying UK, but it was in England. And he said, "What's the most European item you have on the menu?" What? That is such a weird thing to say. Again, that's like going to Brazil and asking for the most American thing on their menu. Because it's in South America. That's the continent. So technically, you can say that. I think he died, unfortunately. Oh, no. That's actually really sad. It's not the most accepting for LGBT. I mean, I guess it's one of the. I guess it comes down to how much you are a physical representation of LGBT, right? Because if you're just a G, so you're just gay, I guess you don't necessarily have to walk up to all the Germans and say, "I'm gay," by the way. But if you're obviously transitioning, it's going to be a lot more obvious. And if they're not as accepting on that, it will be harder. Oh, really? Duck Lover, wow. Oh, really, Mambi? That's good to hear. I wouldn't know what other countries are or aren't accepted on an LGBT. I feel like UK's doing pretty good, but you obviously do get anti or anything really, but you do get anti-LGBT as well, which is unfortunate. I actually went to a LGBTQ plus cafe, like a board game cafe yesterday. There was also vegan, and their vegan food actually looks so delicious. One thing I did find weird though was you can have unisex bathrooms or toilets, whatever you want to call them, public convenience. Hey Elmer, what is this game? This is Infinite Pizza. Yeah, you can have like unisex bathrooms, which means anyone can go in there. That's what the word uni means. I think it does, right? Wait, let me actually look up the word to make sure I'm saying this correctly. Yeah. So unisex means all sexes, right? I was just making sure I was correct because it means everything. So I thought it was weird that when I went to this like toilets in this LGBTQ plus place that it said it was like male, female, non-binary, and it just had all three of those on it. And I was like, why didn't it just say unisex? I feel like that encompasses everything. I thought that was odd. Am I correct in thinking that? Why not just say unisex? Because then that, I don't know, it just encompasses everything. Hey Harry, see you, Duck Lover. The board game place I went to last time was awesome though. Hey Johnson, like we just played tons of different games. We played Chameleon, for those of you who've never heard of that. It's basically someone who doesn't know the answer to something that everyone else knows, and you've got to try to figure out who doesn't know the answer, but also claim your innocence. So for example, if the category was video games, and a video game that you all... So let's say there's 4 of you. 3 of you would know what video game that you have got selected, let's say Pac-Man, and 1 of you will not know. And you have to take turns saying 1 word each, and you have to guess who is the spy, or whatever you want to call it, the chameleon, I guess, from that. So if it was Pac-Man, and someone said, I don't know, shooter, you would obviously know they're a spy. So you try to go for something more generic, but you also don't want to say shooter, because you don't want to... If there's only like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Medal of Honor on the sheet, you're now, by saying shooter, you're now, and one of them is one of those, you're now like showing the chameleon that it's like there's only 3 possible answers, right? So you don't want to, you want to make yourself look innocent without giving away the answer. That was really fun. I love that game. Is that Galaxy Gamer I can see on Twitch? Looking on Google for... You're looking on what? You gotta go back to work. Oh no, enjoy, man. I mean, it depends if you enjoy your work. That might not be an oh no moment. That might be a, yeah, heck yeah. Go back and enjoy your work. Woo!
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, Harry's over at Twitch now. I got really itchy nose. Ah. Do you guys come from a board game family? Growing up, I was always in a board game family. Cards as well, but I freaking hate cards. I haven't played a card game, really, especially with my family, since I was about 16 years old. I freaking hate card games. When I say card games, I do not mean trading card games. I do not mean Uno and stuff like that. I mean, like, poker, blackjack, pontoon, yeah, 5-card stud, those sort of games. Gambling ones, where my parents would make us... not make us, but get us to like throw in. We only used to play for like pennies, but yeah. So gambling poker games. I freaking hate them. I remember playing poker for 2 hours straight, and my highest hand was a pair. That was so... I know you're supposed to bluff, but holy moly. Give me something. No straight, no flush. No three of a kinds. Ooh. I don't have Twitch. Oh, no. I mean, you can still talk to them in chat because they can read it. That's kind of the point of the on-screen chat, so people can read from everybody. Try to join the communities together, you know what I mean? I'm shooting nothing because things are turning invisible now. I'm pretty sure things aren't supposed to turn invisible. Oh, there you go. Things aren't supposed to necessarily turn invisible in this game, but like they just do because they spawn too many and it gets glitchy. And an American went to somewhere in Europe and asked, why do Europeans hand their washing outside unlike Americans use the dryer? Wait, do no Americans hang any clothes outside? Is that a, well, a minute, is that a true thing? I mean, if I have a dryer, I'll use a dryer, but do Americans ever hang washing outside? Yes, Americans do sometimes hang their washing outside. Oh yeah, because you watch like old horror movies and they'll be running through all the washing lines outside trying to get, like, the killer trying to get them. Good chat. Americans do like their machines overdoing things. Oh, that's fine. I'm not putting them down for that. Like, air conditioning. Air conditioning in quite a few places is just not common. And don't get me wrong, some places in America are just significantly warmer on average than the UK. We did have like 42 degrees C here one summer. And we sometimes do get up to like 35 C most summers. And it's horrible. It's so hot and it's so humid in the UK because we're an island... we're sort of an island country, so there's a lot more evaporated water to cause higher humidity. It's horrible. And I have a portable air conditioning because I hate the hot weather, but it's just not as common. But Americans, I remember when I told people who are my American friends that I'm really warm, and they couldn't comprehend that I didn't have an air conditioning at the time. This is probably in my early 20s. And I was like, yeah, it's just not that common in the UK and quite a lot of countries. But Americans, you ask any American, almost all of them have aircon. The sun is free when electricity isn't true. I mean, it is better for the environment and better for... just not using as much electricity in general. Ooh, like the saving on electricity to dry your stuff with the sun, especially if it is the summer. Using dryers in the winter makes complete sense. If it's the summer and the sun is beaming down, it only takes like an hour or two to dry your clothes. Like they dry really fast in the sun. In the sun, so it is quite useful. Yeah, I've started using the example of going to Brazil and saying I'm in America to help Americans understand why going to Europe and saying I'm in Europe instead of saying the country you're in just makes more sense. Like, if I was in Brazil, saying I'm in Brazil makes a lot of sense. If I was in Brazil and I said, look at all these Americans, technically they are in South America, pronounce itself. South America. So technically, that's not necessarily an incorrect statement, but it would still be weird, would it not? Going to Brazil, hey, look, or even Mexico, hey, look at all these Americans, would be a weird statement. Yeah, Americans, the amount of times you'll see YouTube videos where they'll go to somewhere in Europe, France, Germany, Italy, any of them, and say, look at all these Europeans. It's a strange comment for a good reason. The same reason it'd be strange to say it in Brazil, in Mexico. I mean, maybe Americans don't think that is strange, but whenever I've said that example to an American I know, they say, oh yeah, you're right, that does make sense. Hi, Marco. Hey, Crimson, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, hi, Mark.
I got a garlic-based pizza for dinner. I can't wait. Hey, Corey, how's it going, buddy? What's the place that you guys, like individually, hey Jet, that you would like to visit? I knew eventually these Europeans would discover infinite pizza. Woo. Especially the Italians. You know, dude, I'm just doing some cleaning. Nice. Oh, that's dead end. You want to go to Italy? I'd love to go to Italy for the food. No other reason. Just the food. I do not know anything else about Italy. I just know I'd like the food. I was reading oof died at a dead end. Okay, it's not a dead end. It's easy to see your peripheral. Well, easier to see the walls of your peripherals, but like tomatoes and tomato cans, it's much harder to see your peripherals. So that's why when I'm usually reading chat, the most thing I tend to die to is usually the cans and tomatoes rather than thingy. I can't believe I got you killed. Well, I have been. I have been to Japan, New York, but I wouldn't mind going to Las Vegas. See, you see what I mean? It was harder to see that instead of thingy. I mean, that is America. Did you enjoy your time in Japan, Corey? I love Japan. I've been there twice now. The total time I've spent in Japan is 4 months. And I also went to Korea, which was sick. The street food was phenomenal. Oh. Hey, Ryan. How's it going, buddy? I got an itchy nose. What's that? Wow. I turned a little too soon. That was it. It is 5:05. I should have dinner in about half an hour. You know what? One terminology that tends to throw people off. Terminology? Is not terminology. Well, I guess it is when you say like, "Oh, I've got dinner at 6:30." I literally said that. I know my American friend was joking because he probably does. I'm pretty sure he knows what that means. If someone in the UK said like, "Oh, I've got dinner at 6:30," that means you've got dinner at 6:30, like 30 minutes past 6. But I remember my American friend, again, I think he was joking, was like, "So you've got it at 3?" I was like, "What do you mean?" "Well, 6:30 is 3." And I was like, "No, wait, I have it at 6:30. Oh, Corey. Yeah, I went there to see the Super Sentai Museum, but I missed out. Oh, I missed it. I missed out. But next year I'm going back to. Oh, just go to the museum. Nice with your Power Ranger suit. Just finished making a batch of. Damn, that's a lot of dumplings. A dumpling. What kind of dumplings? Like gyoza? Hey, Blue. Blue. Dabba dee dabba da. Dabba dee dabba da. Dabba dee dabba da. I want to go to Monza and Morocco. I'd like to go to the Philippines, Hong Kong, and China. European countries, I want to go to Italy, Germany. Don't really have any interest in Spain. Poland. I'd like to go to Poland. And then if we're talking America, I'd like to go to the USA. Don't really have an interest in Mexico. Do I have any interest in anywhere in South America? Not really. And then if I'm talking Africa, maybe Egypt. Or maybe South Africa? But those are definitely low on the list. I'm fascinated by Asian countries, so they're definitely like top tier that I want to visit. Ooh. Soup dumplings. Oh, look at, yeah, right. And you have to like bite into it and drink it a little bit, like to blow into it and stuff. You're not supposed to just eat it because it'll burn your mouth. I just want to go to bed. Oh, right, Corey. Okay. Take the peppers and we got a deal. What about olives? I feel like I wouldn't like olives on pizza. Olives and pepper are the two. Oh, and mushrooms are the three things on this pizza I wouldn't like. I think that's what? Bacon, pepperoni, red onion. All good. I don't like pineapple on pizza, but I'm biased because I don't like pineapple at all to begin with. I've tried to eat pineapple for so many years. Oh my word, I just saved that. But I have to admit, I just can't enjoy the taste of pineapple. So yeah, I don't like pineapple on pizza because I don't like pineapple. It might be fine on pizza if I enjoyed it, but isn't putting honey on pizza a thing? Like hot honey or honey butter? I'm not sure. I feel like it just comes down to if you like sweet things. My brother wanted me to cook his steak in honey, and he really liked it. Whereas I prefer my steak seasoned with like garlic granules, salt, pepper, maybe paprika, and then that's it. I don't add sugar or anything to my steak seasoning or honey. But I much more prefer savory tastes when it comes to food like that. I'm not too into the sweetness. I like sweetness, don't get me wrong, but in like something like meat, I guess when we're talking gammon though, I do like honey gammon. Like just cook your gammon in some honey. That is delicious. Oh, pork and honey is so good. Good GI. Oh. The skin under my eye. I had 9 hours sleep. The fact that I'm yawning is crazy. Oh, I missed my bus yesterday. I arrived about a minute and a half before it was supposed to leave. Literally got through the gate, saw the bus, which is maybe like 20 feet away from me, and it just left. And I was like, why? It's the last bus on this line or this service. They're called like the X. It's the X something. The last bus on that service, and it left a minute and a half early. I know that doesn't sound bad, but when it's the last one on that service, that means there's no others on that service. Meaning it, they might know there was also something called the other one I took afterwards, which was an hour later. It was 20 past 10 at night, and it left a minute and a half early. I was so annoyed. If anything, it should leave late to make sure, being the last service, everyone gets onto it. Not early, man. Come on. Oh, I think I might really like hot honey on pizza, but I don't know if it'll... Oh, okay. I take the bus so I fully understand. UK buses are so hit or miss, right? I remember going to not an interview, it was an induction day. I was going to an induction day and I decided to leave really early for it. If I got the first bus, I would have probably been there an hour early. So I get to the bus stop, no bus shows up. Now, I've already booked my ticket, which was a bad idea. If your bus accepts tickets just going on board to get them, do that instead. Now, the reason I'll explain in a minute. So my first bus didn't arrive. There was also an old lady there waiting for a bus. First bus didn't arrive. 20 minutes later was the one apparently after that. I was like, that's fine. I'm already like an hour early anyway. I'm going to be 40 minutes early if I take this one. Bus doesn't show up again. I was like, oh my God. Third bus shows up. Nice. It's a different service. So instead of being like National Express, it was whatever that one was. And I'd already pre-booked my ticket. I get on board, show him the ticket on my phone. No, this is the wrong bus. So I have to get off. The second bus that was missed as well, even the old lady was like, is this the right place? Am I like at the right place to get this bus? And I said to her, I was like, yeah, it's just for some reason not showing up twice in a row now. Third bus, couldn't take because it was the wrong service. So now, if I would have taken that third bus, I would have been just on time. Now, I have to take the fourth bus that eventually it does show up, and I take that. When I got to the induction, they asked, why are you late? And I went, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. And they were like, that's fair enough, I'm pretty sure. And they just like let it slide. But I don't think they would have. Imagine saying 2 buses in a row didn't show up and the third bus wasn't the service I'd got a ticket for. They'd think I was lying. They'd be like, no, there's no way. You can report a bus at least before it should. You probably can in the UK, but I just couldn't bother. Like, technically, I shouldn't have left it so late, but I didn't realize. For some reason, it was really early that night. That last bus was in service. Usually, that bus is in service till like midnight, but the last one was like 20 past 10. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't really think about it when we left the cafe that we were in. Uh-oh. There's no way I was making that. That was blocking the path, and it was like all the way around. I remember my, so I was traveling to my friend's wedding, well, last September. So it's, well, in a couple of months, it's been a year. 4 months, it's been a year since I went to my friend's wedding. That's crazy. And I went to his wedding, and it was about, what, 4 or 5 hours on buses, if not longer. And I get to, it's like one stop before I was going to Birmingham. It was one stop before Birmingham. Can't remember what stop it was. And I look at my phone where I need, like, the next train. I'd booked the journey entirely. Hey, McDo, cheese. I booked the journey entirely, right? And I look to see when my next bus is, and train is, and nothing's coming up. And I'm like, what is going on? Because even if they cancel a train, usually it will show you when the next one is, and it will just tell you to wait a little bit longer, like an extra 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour. I go to the ticket dispenser place, ticket person, and I ask her, I'm like, I'm supposed to be taking the, whatever it was, the S18, I don't know. I was like, I'm supposed to be taking the S18. And she looks at me, and I kid you not, she laughed. She went, yeah, that train's been cancelled completely for the rest of the day. Oh. So now I was in a pickle. The next train put me behind 2 hours. Luckily, I was showing up to my friend's wedding or his reception 4 hours early because I wanted to get prepared in the room and I wanted to have a nice little rest before getting there. So I was like, at least I'm so early. But when I got there, I was 2 hours late. And funnily enough, what I found ridiculous was the last stop I would have had to have taken because it didn't go to the stop I needed anymore. If I were to take the next train that was closest to that spot because the service I was taking was off for the rest of the day, it would have got me somewhat close, but I've had to take a bus for the rest of the journey. The last bus, I kid you not, was 50 minutes, right? And that doesn't sound too bad. A 50-minute bus. The walk time was 50 minutes. It was the same length of time to walk the journey to where I needed to go on the last stop than to take the bus. And I was like, well, what's the point in that? I may as well just walk it. I had like stuff with me, like a suit and everything. So what I did instead was I called up like an Uber, and it was like only like an 8-minute drive away. But I contacted the train service. So the train, I should tell you this as well, cost me about £140. It was very expensive to get to my friend's place. And I contacted them and I was like, I was over 2 hours late. Hey, EJ, I was over 2 hours late. They fully refunded the £140. Not just one way, because that was a return ticket to get me home too. They fully refunded the entire £140. And I was like, okay. So I essentially got a free journey. Even though I was put behind like over 2 hours, I actually didn't mind having it fully refunded. I was like, yeah, nice. I'd take that any day. If you said to me, oh, your expensive journey will be 2 hours late no matter what for the rest of your life, but you'll always get a refund, I'd be like, I'd be hard not to take. Free travel? Especially when the return, like, it was already like a 5-hour train, right? It turned into like a 7-hour train. The return was 5 hours because there wasn't any delays. So essentially it turned from 10 hours of total travel to 12 hours total travel. So 20% more travel time for a full refund? If you told me every journey for the rest of my life would be 20% longer in journey, but it would be free travel, I'd take that deal. But imagine being told that about flights. Your 14-hour flight is now... What? That'd be an extra 2... That'd be 16 hours... Almost 17 hours. It's 16.8 hours. So, what is that? I don't know the maths of that because it's 60 minutes. So, that'd be almost 17 hours. If you told me my £1,000 flight would be refunded, but I'd have to travel... Only one way was delayed on the train. I'd have to have my journey extended by an extra... In that case, what? 3 hours. I'd take that deal. That'd be brilliant. Oh, wait, no, it wouldn't be 3 hours because it's both... I said 20% both combined. So it'd be, what? 14 hours, 28 hours, and 20% of that. So it'd be another... Even 4 times. It'd be another 5 hours. Even so, if you told me my first flight over instead of 14 hours would be 19 hours, but £1,000 would be refunded, I'd be like, heck yeah. I was at a burger place yesterday, and our order came to £35 and 32 pence. All right, and we were splitting it, and it was like, oh yeah, we're splitting it. We use the cards, we'll just split it in half, and because we shared the meal anyway, and she was like, oh my word. She was like, she's like, oh, I'll only split if you guys can do the maths. And my friend starts whipping out her, like, phone for a calculator, and I just go, 17.66 pence. And, yeah. And I was like, yeah. Oh, maths. I mean, that's right? 17.66 would be 35.32. Yeah. Maths. Quick maths. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 1, that's 3. Quick maths. Everyday man's on the block. Smoke trees. My phone vibrated. You know what? I never keep my phone on, like... Ouch. On, like, actual volume. I always keep it on silent. Or, well, on vibrate. And I don't think my phones for, like, the last 5 years have ever been taken off vibrate. And it can sometimes be an issue when I'm looking for it. And I'm like, can somebody call my phone? I finished call never again. I love basic maths. Basic maths, I think, is great. You know, I love asking certain people about, like, geography. I won't point any fingers to who I was asking. But, like, some people, it'll be like, name 5 countries in Europe. And they're like, Africa? I'm like, that's a continent. And also, no, like, not Europe at all. And they just can't give you an answer for countries in Europe. I've asked someone before, can you name 5 continents? And they'll be like, oh, no, don't get me wrong. Geography is a learned education, right? Rather, compared to like maths, which is, as long as you know basic maths, that now becomes like a practiced education versus a learned education. What I mean by that is geography, if you've never been told Kazakhstan is a country, you will not know that that's a country. But as long as you know basic maths, when you're approached with any basic math question, and you already know basic math, you should be able to work out that answer, right? So I don't fully judge people for not knowing geography. And I'm not very good at geography either. But I've literally said to someone before, you did win. Swiss? Isn't Swiss Switzerland? Well, hold on a minute. Is Swiss an actual place? Now I'm confused. Yeah, I've literally said to someone before, you know, like how Egypt is in Africa. And I kid you not, because I was explaining continents. And they've literally said to me, how can Egypt be in Africa? I was like, because it's a continent. I was like, the same way Germany's in Europe? Yeah, that's what I thought Mick do, right? He said Swiss. I just realized he didn't say Switzerland. So no, that wouldn't be correct. Oh, my bad. Oh, it's his Hebrew name. Oh, well. I guess I can give you a half pass for that. I do hear some country names recently because I'll see like these shorts out where they're asking questions. And I'm like, where the heck is that? I've never heard of that place in my life. But again, I don't try to judge people too harsh for not knowing places. If you can't name 5 countries in total, I might judge you. Like 5 countries in total. Heck, even if you count the UK, you've got England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Ireland. If someone would count them as countries, I believe that they are counted as countries. That's already 4. Well, actually, Ireland isn't part of the United Kingdom, but what I mean is that the place that, you know, United Kingdom plus Ireland, right? So you got what? Oh, that's 5, right? England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, and Ireland, right? That counts as 5, I think. So when someone can't name 5 countries flat out, I'm like, there's no way. This has to be a meme. I know that there's like the videos like Americans try to name countries, and I'd like to believe that those videos are only showing you like the worst of the worst, because you can find people who don't know anything about geography in the UK as well. But some of their answers, man, when they're like, name 5 countries outside of the US, and they just can't. I'm like, there's no way. They usually say Europe, funnily enough. And that kind of proves my point earlier when I said some Americans just say Europe instead of saying the countries in Europe when they visit somewhere. And I find that very strange. Calling Europe a country as an American is just such a funny comment to me. The thing is, like, America, if you say America, technically you're talking about, I believe, technically they say you're talking about the continents, right? So you're either referring to North America or South America. You're supposed to say USA when you're talking about United States of America. Can you guys name 10 states? Uh-oh. What I find funny as well, right, is when an American says name 10 states, but asking an American to name 10 states is not the same as asking a European to name 10 states is not the same as asking an American to name 10 countries in Europe. What it's more like is like asking, to do the same thing, America would have to ask, or we'd have to ask an American, that's it, name 5 cities. Something like that, name 5 or 5 or 10 English counties, right? That would be more of an equivalent versus asking an American to name a country. Country should be easier for an American versus naming counties in England, right?
Oh, hi, Mark.
Hey, Starbomb, how's it going, buddy? Hey, we got 10 states of America from Ryan. Texas, Arizona, Hawaii, Alaska. I love when people actually add Hawaii and Alaska, because I feel like those get left out a lot when people name American states. And I think they're just really easy ones as well. You had New Jersey, but not New York. Criminal. I could name probably 20 states if you sat me down and I really thought about it. But I've also worked a job when I had to make an American map and I had to isolate all the states out, so I'm kind of cheating. What brings you here today, Starbomb? Excuse you, basic? Hawaii and Alaska are the easy ones, if you know about their existence anyway. Because they're such a separate thing. Have you seen how far away Hawaii actually is from America? It's crazy. I thought they were like on the bottom left, because the way, I swear the way that it's usually drawn on a map is it's actually quite close, right? When you see like a map with it. Not a map should I say, but like a representation of Hawaii as a part of America. Hey, Absolute Silver. But if you actually look at how far away Hawaii is from America, it's crazy. Can you try playing GD? What's GD?
No.
I never understand when people abbreviate game names when you're asking. I'm not trying to throw Starbomb on the bus, but if you're asking a YouTuber to play a specific game, wouldn't the assumption be that they don't know about that game, so they wouldn't know about the abbreviation? Ah, Geometry Dash, right. Although I will always use the example of my friend when he was like, I'm playing, I said to him, I'm playing... Oh, no, he said, I'm playing AC at the moment. And I was like, you're playing Assassin's Creed at the moment? He was like, no, Animal Crossing. I was like, oh, don't use abbreviations. What is the goal of this game? Get a high score, Luke Dixon. How's it going, buddy? It's just a high score game. Like old arcade games, like playing Pac-Man or Asteroids or Space Invaders. And I kind of just play it when I want to chat. Which is what we're doing before I go eat dinner. I'm having pizza today. At least Animal Crossing. Oh, yeah, true. You could say Animal ACNF, right? Animal Crossing New Leaf. South Dakota. Oh, see, that's basic as well. You're getting the North and Souths in there. Hey, Tyler, how's it going? I keep seeing it seems popular. Yeah, I think it was released over a year ago, this game. But I think it's popular because it's an easy game to talk to chat with, right? Because you're not, like, having to pay attention to a story or pay attention to characters talking or anything like that. You can just sort of, like, sit here and play the game while reading chat and communicating with chat. So I think it's a good... like streaming game. Seems like a pizza mushroom tray. I don't know why they have do you guys like mushrooms on your pizza? To be fair, I don't like mushrooms, so I'm kind of biased, but I'd never have mushrooms on pizza, man. I don't like mushrooms. You know what? I hate mushrooms. When I was in Japan, I liked shiitake and enoki mushrooms. They're actually pretty good. Enoki mushrooms are really good at putting in like a stir fry, like just noodles and stuff. And I used to strip them down so they were like really thin, and I'd just throw them in because they almost look like either bean sprouts or noodles almost when you throw them in and cook them. Very good. I can name more than... to be fair, I've known Americans who can't even name that many American states. Equally, I know a lot of English people who might not be able to name a lot of English counties, so that's not me throwing Americans under the bus. I mean, I could probably only name 10 counties at the top of my head. I'm trying to think, where is Birmingham? What county is Birmingham in? It's not Birminghamshire, is it? That's the one thing with the English counties, right, is you'll get, like, Bedfordshire. You'll get, like, Buckinghamshire. You'll get, like a lot of them will have, like, a place and then the word shire added on at the end, right? That happens quite a lot. I never ate mushrooms. Have you never had a mushroom star bomb? I'd say try it, because a lot of people do love them. I'm trying to think of other sheer places. Hold a minute. I can't think. Londonshire, that's not a place. London and Greater London. I believe London's a city and Greater London's the county. Is that how it works? Wow, I cannot think of counties right now. See? You see what I mean? Birmingham. Yeah, where is Birmingham? What county is it in? Or is the county also called Birmingham? I'd be very surprised. What I find really funny, actually, is you'll meet people... If you say to someone, like, the UK's in Europe, there are
some people in the UK who will literally say, we're not part of Europe, we left them. No, in Brexit, we left the European Union. The combination of, like, countries coming together to work as one. We are still in Europe, the continent, because it's a place. It's a plate. A plate? What do you call them? You know what I mean? Like, it's a segment of the world.
Alright, my dinner's ready. I'll finish this run and we'll die. Die. Oh, that was a big turn.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark. Uh-oh. That was unfair. Hey, Karen. I'm just about to finish up the stream, but we're doing one after dinner anyway. Yeah, until the country floats away, the UK is still in Europe. Exactly. It's called Birmingham. No. The state's not called Birmingham. Surely. Not state, sorry. The county. What county is Birmingham in? The what? West Midlands Metropolitan County. No wonder why I didn't know. Oh, here you go. Wait, hold on a minute. However, it was not always that way. Birmingham has expanded. Oh, apparently it crosses over several counties. It used to be in... Well, apparently it crosses over from Warwickshire to Staffordshire to Worcestershire.
Oh, hi, Mark.
That's why. Hey, Juicy Gamer. I was on your stream yesterday when you played this game. I didn't play this game yesterday. I wasn't even here yesterday. How's it going, man? I'm about to end the stream, though, because I'm about to go have dinner. Why this game was made, Starbomb. Yeah, it's a very strange game. Anyways, I'm going to go have dinner. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be streaming again after dinner. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.